What's up, Archons? I'm Flightless Pheasant, and today we have an update from Ghost Galaxy. Although I don't know if it's really an update, but they're doing their Meet the Skyborn page, which they did this one for the Getrukia and the House Quaiden when they came out. I think they did one for Geistoid too, but I'm not 100% sure if they did one for Geistoid. But anyway, they're doing it for Skyborn. And, yeah, I figure we'll go over the article, we'll look at it. This is almost all things we've already seen or heard in other places, but they haven't put it here, and so it's still good to have it. It opens up with a really nice big block of flavor text. We have seen this flavor text before. None of this is new flavor text. This is all things they have posted other places that we have heard before. But I'm going to go ahead and go through it, just, you know, in case somebody hasn't heard it or doesn't know any of this. It's still really good flavor text, and I like it. So, spend any time in the dark corners of Cirrus or Port Halyard, and you're bound to hear the legend of Old Flint. His story reigns supreme among the Stormkin, those outcasts who covet Aember. He stashed his bounty on a remote rock, guarded by a map from the Lord Jareen. Even death couldn't quench his thirst for treasure. He roams the skies eternally, his spectral ship a haunting reminder. While many perish chasing his legend, safer fortunes await in the Sky Realm. Join the Merchants Guild, seek the patronage of the Great Barons, or triumph in the annual Great Hunt. Just avoid Flint's pursuit, lest it become your own. Sidebar, I'm going to talk about this later, but I assumed Lord Jareen, the Lord Jareen, was an Archon, and I know now that's not true. Jareen is a species. It's a type of alien. I'll talk about that more when I talk about when I do my Aember Skies lore video, where I break down all of my favorite lore bits from Aember Skies, because that's definitely on my list, and we're gonna talk about it more. But that's a cool thing that I did not know until recently about this. So we're gonna go back into the lore stuff, or back into the lore text. In the vast expanse above the clouds of the Crucible, where the sky meets the horizon, lies the domain of the Skyborn, a loose confederation of baronies, merchant guilds, hunter clans, and pirates that navigate the endless azure aboard their prized skyships. Each vessel a marvel of engineering and ingenuity. Guided by the whims of the wind, the Skyborn carve out their existence amidst the billowing clouds, their way of life dictated by trade, adventure, and the pursuit of power. From the grandiose palaces of the high-ranking barons to the rugged decks of the daring sky pirates, life in the sky holds both peril and promise. With alliances forged and broken as swiftly as the gusts that propel their ships, the Skyborn stand as masters of their domain, where the horizon knows no bounds, and the sky is the only limit. Again, we've seen that text before, so that's not new. But I love lore text. Please keep sharing it. Yeah. New ones would be good, but I like getting any at all. Skyborn is the newest house, and it makes its debut in Aember Skies. Let's take a look at what this house can do. Yes, let's. So, key color choices. To win a game of Keyforge, a player must forge 3 keys before their opponent can do the same. The rules of the game specify that each player must use a set of keys in 3 different colors, 1 each of red, yellow, and blue. For most of the game's existence, the color of a key a player chose to forge had no real impact on the game, with the exception of a single card, the Red Baron, which first appeared as an ultra-rare anomaly card in the game's 3rd set, Keyforge Worlds Collide. Yep, I know people who would intentionally forge their red key last, just in case their opponent had a Red Baron, which is crazy, because there's just not that many of them before this, but... Anyway, Skyborn features many new cards that will interact with key color. These abilities add an interesting layer of choice for both you and your opponent each time a key is forged. Tying abilities to key colors can also provide interesting ways for cards to scale in power as the game progresses. An excellent example is the common card Skulking Saboteurs, right here. Early in the game, when you don't have any forged keys, Skulking Saboteurs won't do much for you. They have the elusive keyword, which makes them a little more likely to survive from turn to turn. The first time a creature with elusive is attacked each turn, no damage is dealt in the fight. So they basically just avoid getting attacked and don't fight back. But once you're ready to forge your first key, you have an interesting choice. What's your biggest headache on your opponent's side of the board? creatures, artifacts, or maybe a particular upgrade. Whatever it is, Skulking Saboteurs can provide the solution. And once you forge a second key, Skulking Saboteurs can provide the solution to 2 of those problems. Yeah, so the key color thing is really interesting. However, I've been kind of poking around through the set because I'm getting ready to do my lore picks for Aember Skies, and I found something that kind of disappointed me, and that is there's only about 10 cards that care about key color in the entire house of Skyborn, which is kind of a low number. I think it's a little more than 10, but you know, it's not very many. And I think part of that's because the house is a little smaller than previous houses have been. The whole set, actually, is noticeably smaller than previous core sets. Another thing I will definitely talk about in upcoming videos. But as a result, I actually have a hard time... So one of the things I wanted to talk about, and probably will still try to talk about in my Aember Skies video, is what does each key color mean? Like, what does Skyborn interpret each key color as meaning? And what do they care about? Does each key color have a specific set of mechanics that care about that key color, or is it sort of random? And I have some speculations, and I'll definitely talk about that, but because there's such a small sample size, it's actually really hard for me to pin down if there is any special significance to each key color. Like, for instance, do effects that get better with yellow keys deal with amber control? Do effects that get better with red keys deal with fighting or dealing damage? Do effects that get better with blue keys deal with defending your creatures or taunt effects? The short answer is it's unclear because there's just not enough to go on. I can make some speculations, and I definitely will. But yeah, the key color thing is cool, but I feel like there's just not enough of it. We needed more, and we didn't get it. And that is a bummer. It is a definite bummer, especially for how much of a mechanic it felt like it was supposed to be and how much of it we got. Yeah. Moving on, how's your battle line? Skyborn is a loose confederation of shifting alliances filled with daring individuals possessed with a fierce sense of independence and relentless competition. In game terms, this is represented by their ability to manipulate battle lines and capitalize on creatures being in specific positions. Consider the cards Pirate Champion and Silver Linings. Silver Linings provides you with a nice burst of amber. You'll always get at least 1 amber from playing it thanks to its amber bonus icon. You'll gain at least 2 total amber if you have a creature in play, but if you have 2 flank creatures in play that belong to different houses, you'll gain at least 3 amber in total when you play Silver Linings. But that's not all. There are situations where this card could get you even more amber. Read on to find out how. I think this is the exact text they gave us in the GameFound article when they talked about this same card. I think this text is identical. A lot of this looks like copy-paste text to me. Pirate Champion is an example of a Skyborn creature that can help you get your battle line into an ideal arrangement. First of all, it's a 6-power creature with Taunt. If a creature has Taunt, its neighbors cannot be attacked unless they also have Taunt. Then it has an interesting After Fight ability that gives you the option to move it to either your left or right flank. Remember, After Fight abilities only resolve when the creature with the ability attacks, and the attacking creature must survive the fight. Yes. The battle line manipulation stuff I was really excited about. I thought it was going to be super cool, and it kind of is. It sort of is. But of the 3 sort of core pillars of this house, being key color, steal effects, and battle line manipulation seems like the one with the smallest payoff, and possibly the one that takes the most work to pull off. And so, even though Silver Linings is pretty good, it's kind of one of the few payoff cards they have for their battle line manipulation effects. So again, it feels like if there had been more cards in this house, we probably could have gotten more out of this battle line manipulation effect, but there weren't, and so we kind of didn't. So yeah. And we'll move on to the last one. Plunder for the taking. Stealing your opponent's amber is one of the most powerful effects in the game. When you steal amber, you're not only gaining it for yourself, you're denying it from your opponent, which simultaneously speeds up your forging and slows down theirs. House Shadows were the original champions of stealing, but Skyborn is pushing to claim that title for themselves. We've already seen the Red Baron's steal effect, but take a look at the common card Raiding Party and the rare card Black Tempest. Raiding Party has an afterfight ability that will always steal 1 amber from your opponent, assuming they have any amber in their pool to steal. But if both you and your opponent have forged a key of the same color, Raiding Party will steal 2 amber from after their attack. Not bad. Black Tempest is another aggressive creature that can steal amber. It also has 2 points of armor. 2 points of armor. No, it has 1 point of armor. Or at least this version they're showing here has 1 point of armor. I'd have to look at the card. Pretty sure it only has 1, but it might have 2. Anyway, each point of armor preventing 1 damage each turn, and Hazardous 2 definitely has Hazardous 2, which means each time a creature attacks Black Tempest, the attacking creature is immediately dealt 2 damage. Now, I love the idea of Fight to Steal. I think it's really cool, because it's a thing that Shadows mostly doesn't do. I think they have Dodger and like maybe one other creature that has Fight to Steal effects, but they're really uncommon in Shadows. And so I was really excited for Skyborn to just triple down on Fight to Steal. And they kind of did. They have quite a few of them. But their best steal effects are on actions. Even though, like, the Black Tempest is, like, After Fight Steal 2 and maybe 3, and the Raiding Party is After Fight Steal 1 or maybe 2. Somehow those still aren't their best steal effects because they got some of the most powerful stealing actions I have ever seen in the game. Like, they put Shadows to shame. Redline Rotation is broken. It is broken. It is too good. At least it's a rare, I guess. But I've seen too much of it already. I don't understand why that card got an Amber Pip. It should not have gotten an Amber Pip. That was a mistake. Stop it. And then the other one is Against All Flags. Against All Flags has an Amber Pip on it as well, which I don't know why, and says, steal 2 if any 2 flank creatures share a house, which is so bold, because it means even if my opponent has 2 creatures that share a house, and I don't, I can still steal 2 amber, and I gain 1 for playing it. And on top of that, as if it needed any more, if for some reason I can't steal 2 amber because there are not 2 creatures that share a house on any of the 4 flanks, I still get to steal 1 amber. And this card's a common. That is nuts. That is a minimum 3 amber swing, but probably a 5 amber swing. That is ridiculous for a common. Again, no reason that should have had an Amber Pip on it. Absolutely none. In my mind, the reason to give a card an Amber Pip is in case it doesn't do anything. Or because whatever it does is not particularly potent, right? But Steal 2 is plenty potent, right? There's a Shadows card that has Alpha and Omega, and it's Steal 3, and that's all it does, okay? And there's no Amber Pip on that card. I do not understand the design philosophy behind those actions. I don't understand why those were as incredibly good as they were. Especially when there's another action in Skyborn, Edge of the World, that is move a creature to a flank, steal 1, no Amber Pip in sight. So it's only ever going to steal 1. Unlike Against All Flags, which, by the way, Edge of the World is an uncommon, and Against All Flags is a common. So you're going to see more Against All Flags than you're going to see Edge of the World. I don't understand what the design philosophy there was. I do not get it. I love the idea of Skyborn being another house that does stealing. It's cool to have another one of those. I just was really hoping that they were going to differentiate themselves from Shadows by being a fight to steal house. And so they were going to have to use combat tricks, and positioning, and you know, they were going to have to be kind of tricky about it. But Redline Rotation and Against All Flags just completely undercut that and made it pretty much pointless. And I'm kind of upset about it. I admit, I'm a little tilted. Okay, we're gonna finish this up. So twice the fun. Aember Skies introduces the new concept of a single card belonging to 2 houses. Every Keyforge card belongs to 1 house by default, but most cards can be assigned a second house during the deck generation process thanks to a new type of card enhancement. Take a moment to consider the implications of one of your flank creatures belonging to 2 different houses when you play a card like Silver Linings. Okay, so I don't get what the limitation is on house enhancements, right? Because I've seen artifacts, creatures, upgrades, and actions get enhanced into multiple houses. So what's the limitation? What is the what can I not enhance? Why do you say most cards can be assigned to second house? What cards can't be assigned to second house? And like, why? I thought actions weren't going to be assigned to second house, because actions are broadly the best cards in the game in terms of their immediate effect. And so I thought, you know, getting them into 2 houses would be too good. Whereas I was like, creatures, yeah, okay, that's basically showing off the mechanic. Artifacts, not a problem, and could even be really fun and good. Upgrades, I mean, being able to play it in 2 houses, fine, you know. But actions, I thought, probably would be the thing that was excluded. And it turns out they're not, or at least not entirely. Because I've seen actions with upgrades, or with enhancements on them, enhanced into multiple houses. So, I don't understand what the limitation is. And I wish I did. I wish they told us this more explicitly. So, all in all, yay! Meet House Skyborn. I'm really excited. I feel like... So I'm planning to do Houses of the Crucible Skyborn in the near future. So I've got a lot of lore thoughts on Skyborn floating around in my head right now. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't talk about all of the different sub-factions within House Skyborn in more detail. They kind of breeze over that there are a bunch of different factions, right? They have in the lore blurb. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Loose confederation of baronies, merchant guilds, hunter clans, and pirates that navigate the endless azure aboard their prized skyships. Yeah, but like each of these subgroups does have a name. They're named groups, and they have like their own goals and purposes. You can even kind of see it on some of the cards here, although they only show us Stormkin basically, which are the pirates. But the Red Baron here has the Raptrix trait as well, and the Raptrix are basically daredevil pilots who just pilot junkers and have a really crazy mentality of just, I won't land on the ground, so I'm going to keep this hunk of junk in the air as long as possible. So, yeah, I don't know. I have thoughts, obviously. I'm working on videos, things coming on the horizon. Houses of the Crucible Star Alliance. We'll follow that with Houses of the Crucible Skyborn. Alphabetically, that's moving backwards a little bit, but we're gonna deal with that. Lore, my lore picks for Aember Skies, my lore picks for Tokens of Change. So yeah, there's things coming. Look forward to those. Be excited. Be hype. But that's all I have for you today. So until next time, later, Archons.